Hello and welcome to Backblast International. My name is Whooves, and in this training video we will be looking at the anti-tank and anti-air launchers. As an infantryman, you are expected to deal with any threats that might arise on the battlefield. Arguably one of the biggest threats to infantry are hostile vehicles, both on land and in the air, ranging from a simple jeep with a mounted heavy machine gun all the way up to main battle tanks and helicopter gunships. Today we will be taking a look at setting up for a good shot, light anti-tank, medium anti-tank, heavy anti-tank and anti-air. Setting up for a good shot. When shooting an enemy armor asset, always make sure you have a clear, direct shot. Try and get into a position where no trees, teammates or other objects are blocking your shot. When possible, try and hit the enemy armor from the rear or in the flanks. Armor is always weakest here and will deal much more damage than a shot to the front. Before we take a look at the actual launchers themselves, we need to take a short look at the major hazard of using launchers: backblast. When you fire any launcher, it will produce a hazardous backblast. If this isn't accounted for, it can lead to a serious injury or even deaths, so always be sure your backblast is clear before firing. Typically, backblast will form a cone of 45 to 90 degrees behind the launcher and stretch between 30 to 60 meters in length. However, the damage experience will fall off significantly at range. Note that not all launchers will create backblast, but as a procedure, always ensure it is clear. Light anti-tank. The first category of AT launchers are the light anti-tank launchers. Those are operated by a squad anti-tank rifleman. Some launchers, such as the M136 and M72, will need to be unlocked before they can be used. In order to do this, press L. The soldier will slide up the sights and remove the safety. There is a wide variety of scopes and sights when using LAT launchers. Some launchers use simple iron sights for aiming. They can be ranged up and down using the page up and page down buttons. The RPG-26 is unique because it has two iron sights. The standard iron sight is ranged at 100 meters, while the alternative can be ranged from 50 to 250. To switch between the standard and alternate sights, use Ctrl right mouse. Other launchers like the Panzerwals 3 and LGW-90 use scopes utilizing an enemy's width to estimate range. To determine the range to your target, you need to use the boxes on the sight. When looking at your target from the side, use the lower boxes. Try and fit the enemy armor pieces side width inside one of the boxes. A best fitting box represents the approximate range to your target. Alternatively, when looking at your target from the front or the rear, you need to use the upper box. The SMAW launcher is a unique LAT launcher because it is the only LAT that can lock on to enemy vehicles. To begin the lock-on procedure, press T. Once fired, the rocket will automatically travel towards the locked-on vehicle. Be aware that once fired, the rocket will drop a little on leaving the tube, so be sure to fire it a little bit higher to make sure it doesn't hit the ground in front of you. The RPG-75 has an iron sight, with its own ranging method. Simply match the corresponding range line with your target. It also comes with its own range estimator on the lower side of the sight. Simply try to fit your target inside one of the boxes and you get an estimate to the target's range. The M80 launcher has a two-step ranging method. First, you will need to range the sight using page up and page down. Then you will need to aim down the sight and match the same holographic range line with your target in order to get an accurate shot. The M80 has its own range estimator built into the holographic sight. On each side there is a curved line leading to the center. Simply fit the vehicle sight width in between the two lines and you get an estimate of the range to your target. Typically, LAT launchers can only be fired once. In order to take a second shot, the AT rifleman needs to be resupplied with a new launcher. A medium anti-tank is operated by two men, one gunner who operates the launcher and an assistant who carries additional rockets and assists in ranging and spotting enemies. There are three MAT launchers in use by Backblast International: the M3 MAAWS, and the SMAW launchers both use standard scopes that can be ranged up and down using page up and page down buttons. These launchers can be loaded with 3 different types of rockets: high explosive, anti-tank or hit rockets, which should be used to take down armored enemies; high explosive dual purpose rockets, which should be used against enemies in buildings, fortifications and light armored threats; and high explosive HE rockets, which are effective against infantry and unarmored vehicles. The SMAW has a unique spotting rifle that can greatly assist in hitting the target accurately. To fire the spotting rifle, you need to switch fire mode on the launcher by pressing F. Then range the launcher to the estimated range of your target. Once fired, the tracer will follow the same arc as the rocket will once fired. If the spotting round hits the target, just switch to the primary launcher and take the shot. Both the gunner and the assistant carry a box with 5 spotting rounds. The third and final MAT launcher is the RPG-7. The RPG-7 comes with the PGO-7V scope. This scope offers a variety of functions when it comes to ranging an enemy vehicle. The scope has its own range estimator in the form of horizontal and a curved line. Place the horizontal line on the enemy's vehicle lower track or the tire and then compare its height to the curved line. This will give you an estimate of the target's range. Now that you have the correct range to your target, you will need to range the launcher correctly, as the set of markers you use depends on the type of rocket being fired. There are 5 RPG rounds in use by Blackwatch International. The PG-7V rocket is a hit rocket designed to take down enemy armor. To range it, you need to look at the outer left side of the grid. It has an effective range of 500 meters. The PG-7VL is an improved hit rocket that is more effective against enemy armor and can be even used against enemy fortifications. It can be ranged up to 300 meters using the outer right side of the grid. The left side of the horizontal line below the grid is reserved for the TBG-7V and the PG-7VR rockets. Ranging can be done up to 200 meters. The TBG-7V is a thermobaric warhead mainly used against infantry targets. The PG-7VR is also a hit rocket, best used against more modern armored threats. The OG-7V is a fragmentation rocket designed to take down infantry. It can be ranged up to 240 meters using the 2 horizontal lines below the right side of the grid. At the top of the grid you will see a plus mark. This is the 50-meter bore sight, suitable for all rocket types. Be aware that not all countries use MAT teams. Some countries use heavy LAT launchers or rely on HAT launchers. Blackwatch primarily uses 2 HAT launchers, the Spike MR and the FGM-148 Javelin. Both work in the same way. To fire these launchers, aim towards the enemy armor piece. In order to lock onto your target, you will need to switch to the thermal sights by pressing the N key. Then you need to start the lock-on procedure. Do this by holding the Tab key. Once locking is done, you can fire the rocket. Note that you can only use HAT against enemy armor. You can't lock on to the enemy infantry. Static launchers. Some factions don't have shoulder-mounted HAT launchers. They need to rely on friendly armor assets or static launchers. There are 3 static AT launchers that can be used: the Cornet M, Metis M launcher and Tau. Those launchers work with a fly-by-wire system. Simply aim towards your target and once fired, the rocket will be guided towards where you aim. You can change the direction mid-flight just by aiming towards where you want the rocket to go. The SPG-9M uses a scope to range your target. Like the RPG-7 scope, it comes with a built-in rangefinder. Range your target and match it with corresponding range. You can find the range value on the left of the grid. Anti-air. When enemy air assets are present, the platoon leader might decide to bring along an AA team, consisting of a gunner and assistant. Blackwatch International currently fields 3 anti-air launchers: the German Fliegerfaust, the FIM-92 Stinger and the 9K-38 Igla.
All these launchers work via lock-on system. Simply load the rocket and press T to begin the lock-on procedure. Once locking on is complete, you can fire the rocket. Now you have a good understanding of all different launchers used within Blackwatch International. Please note that not all factions have access to MAT, AGT or AA loadouts in the BWI armory. To make sure that your current faction has these capabilities, check the armory in our field manual. Thank you for watching this video on anti-tank and anti-air launchers. If this video was useful, be sure to give it a like, subscribe for more armor-free content and check out our website for more information on Blackwatch International. Good luck!